A 4-game winning streak sounds pretty darn good, doesn't it, Bears fans? Even though it might not have been the cleanest of games, the Bears are now 4-2 after an 0-2 start to the 2025 season. Welcome into the Bear Report podcast. I'm Steven Johnson. He is Zach Pearson. And Zach, I tell you, it was up and down. And even though there were times it felt like it was nice and comfortable, didn't really feel like that towards the end of the game, and kind of had us wondering a little bit more about how good this team actually might be.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, 4-game win streak, first one since 2018. They actually had 2 4-game win streaks in 2018. But yeah, I mean, I thought they'd come out and dominate the Saints in every facet of the game. They did on defense. They did with the run game. Got a little dicey there after the Saints cut it to 20-14. But look, this is the game the Bears probably lose last year. I mean, they did lose to the New England Patriots as 5.5, 6.5 point favorites last year, coming off, whatever was going on with them after Arizona. So, yeah, I mean, look, you can't really ever complain about wins. I mean, yeah, there's some things to clean up, but we don't get to really celebrate 4-game win streaks a lot around these parts.
To say the least. 26-14, the Bears piling it on, up 20-0 at one point until, like you said, things started to get a little hairy there between the touchdown that the Saints scored at the end of the first half and then coming out in the second half and scoring another touchdown. Going over the quick stats here of what happened from a team level for each side. Again, kind of breaking things down. Caleb Williams, 172 yards on 15 of 26 passing and 1 interception, no touchdowns. We'll get to that information a little bit later for what he did overall in the game on Sunday. But up and down. First downs, 23-16 in Bears' favor. Third down efficiency, again, an issue. 3 of 12 on third down for the Bears. Forced 3 of 10 for the Saints. Total yards, 386 to 253 for the Saints. The running game, once again, having a phenomenal day. 222 rushing yards, holding the Saints to just 44 rushing yards. Alvin Kamara was really a non-factor all day on Sunday, which for a guy who has still performed at such a high level, very good to see the defense come out and do that. Penalties still a problem. 10 penalties, 92 yards compared to just 5 penalties for the Saints for 30 yards. And then time of possession, 36 minutes to 23 minutes. Just absolute dominance in the realm of time of possession. But when you force 4 turnovers, that's going to happen. Again, the defense, just another stellar day. They get 4 sacks. They get 4 turnovers. And overall, plain and simple, the reason why the Bears win the game on Sunday.
Yeah, let's see. 4-game win streak. They've had 4 more takeaways in 3 of those games. The other game they had only 3. But yeah, they're really taking the football away, and they picked off Spencer Rattler 3 times, forced a fumble on Spencer Rattler with the Montez Sweat strip sack, got 4 sacks on Spencer Rattler. Really, outside those 2 drives, the one at the end of the first half and the one to open up the second half, the defense was flat out dominant. Like, they confused the heck out of Spencer Rattler. It starts with Dennis Allen. He didn't really want to go into it publicly when asked about this upcoming game, but you could tell there was a little bit of a revenge factor. He wanted to kind of to prove a point, and then watching him celebrate in that post-game locker room with his quote, someone might not want you or whatever. But yeah, they dominated, man. And I keep going back to, people say, well, they should dominate. It's the Saints. After what happened last year, what's happened the last couple of years, it's good to actually beat teams you're supposed to be beating, because this roster, the schedule is going to get really tough towards the end of the season, with their last 7 games. So you got to if you want to be in the hunt for the playoffs, you have to, put your foot on these teams that you should beat. But Yeah, overall, it was just a dominating performance by the defense. And it was one of those days where it felt like an old school Bears win, right? Like you're looking at it, defense dominates, run game carries them, quarterback makes some throws, turns it over once. The elements were out there. All we were missing, honestly, was the big special teams play, it felt like.
Yeah, it's one of these days I feel like we'll get it at some point, but I guess beggars can't be choosers to the
Yeah.
rest of what has occurred. Even just kind of breaking down, looking at the turnovers again, the Bears now leading the NFL in takeaways with 16, and not only that, but they also lead the league in turnover differential at plus 11. So incredible numbers there with the fact that, yes, the offense, while not great numbers, they're still managing to hold on to the ball, not make those major errors that are turning into turnovers on a consistent basis. And again, as long as the defense continues to play at this high level, if the offense can finally start to get things clicking, it's going to go very, very well for the Bears. And the key, obviously, to the offense getting in motion and start to improve lies at the feet of Caleb Williams, who you could argue not only had his worst day of the season this year, but arguably his worst game as a Bear, the way that he was kind of throwing the rock around. And frankly, a lot of bad throws. And it gave me a lot of pause that he was missing wide open receivers, throwing it at the feet of receivers, overthrowing others, and tied in. And while not entirely his fault, the snap issues with Drew Dalman and the fact that there was just this continuous problem that happened at the beginning of the game just really got the offense off on the wrong foot right out of the gate. I mean, it was 3 snaps in the first 2 possessions, and then another snap later in the game, which somehow saved them and got them points when it turned into a false start. But clearly, once again, problems at the goal line. And it is a tad frustrating because every single time you looked over and you saw him on the sidelines and the broadcast is talking about the issues that he's having, you never really once saw him talking with Drew Dalman to try and figure out, hey, what do we got to do to get on the same page? What do we have to do in terms of this cadence? And maybe it did happen. And I know Drew Dalman took the responsibility for everything in the cadence after the game and said it was 100% on him. But at the same time, there was a leadership factor missing from Caleb yesterday, just in terms of the longevity of the game, to where they had to lean on the running game so much. And thankfully, they were running on all cylinders between DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. But that's a major, major red flag that all of a sudden we've seen all this momentum these last couple weeks and these glimpses that Caleb is finally getting it. And then he puts up an absolute turd of a game against one of the worst defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, I think, you go into this game and you look at the Saints defense and, worst first quarter defense in football, I believe. Not a very good defense overall. And you're expecting, like this should be the game where Caleb takes that step forward. He, lights them up. He improves. Now, he didn't do that. And it's not the end of the world. It's a little disappointing. You want to see him do that. He made the one throw to Rome Odunze where he stared down the receiver the entire time and it was picked off. That was probably his worst throw of the year, I'd say. Like just not a good throw. What I keep coming back to though is, the flashy throws weren't there on Sunday. The deep ball accuracy is a little, still concerning. You saw it against Washington where he looked like he missed Odunze wide open down the field. It's for me, he's not turning the football over as often. 3 interceptions on the year. I think I don't even know if he has a fumble loss on the year yet. Which is stuff that I look at the positives. Like, the turnovers are not piling up. The sacks were a little bit of an issue yesterday. And like you said, the center exchange was just, I don't know, that was really funky. I don't understand it. And we've kind of like going back, I was looking at something with Drew Dalman in Atlanta, and Atlanta fans are pretty much saying this is how he was. He was having issues snapping the football. And I didn't understand the first one where he like held on to the ball, and then the second one,
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, the second one, like you said, saved him. I feel like the Saints should be able to decline that penalty. I get it's a false start, but if the play's already running, you know what I mean? The play actually ran.
Pre-snap penalty,
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a dumb rule. But with Caleb, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was the end of the world type of game yesterday. I do think, I don't know, man, that Seattle game they played last year, he was pretty damn terrible. I'd say that was probably his worst. This is probably his worst game this year, where like it was just things that, you know, you want to see improve that we thought would improve as time goes on. And maybe it can improve. Like, I'm not saying it can't. And you know, he's still only 6 games with Ben Johnson. So, you know, there's no need to give up on this at all. But, you know, the inaccurate throws, the bailing out of the pocket. And it's kind of weird because I know a lot of people say, well, he shouldn't run as often. He should try to throw the ball down the field. Yesterday, I was like, he should have ran some of those. Like, some of those were open to run. And Roma Dunze didn't help him out on the one. Like, he flat out dropped the ball. That was pretty bad. But like the one he forced on the sidelines, he like probably should have ran that one. But
yeah,
I mean, it's not the end of the world. I don't think it was the end of the world by any means. But I think as the season goes on, where I'm at is we have to see progression. We have to see some progression from Caleb Williams. And I think we're going to get there eventually. It's a little slower because, like, you look at Drake May and it's like everyone's fawning over him. And he's played incredibly well. You know, Bo Nix was awful for 3 quarters and had a JJ McCarthy moment in the last quarter. So, yeah, it's just how it is, honestly.
30 plus points in a quarter.
Crazy.
that was just bizarre. It's we digress. Anyway, yeah, but I mean, to that point. And I know this argument has been made about what the Bears faced in the Saints defense on Sunday as well, where the Saints essentially said, fine, we're going to let the run game beat us. And the run game did beat them. They played a lot of nickel, a lot of dime defense. They sat back. They said, fine, we want to see Caleb throw the ball. And when he threw the ball, it wasn't good. But on the flip side of that, when they ran the ball, you have DeAndre Swift, 19 carries, 124 yards and a touchdown. Kyle Monangai, 13 carries, 81 yards and a touchdown. Both of them averaging over 6 yards a clip. The Bears said, fine, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. And I think for a, frankly, unrespected Bears running game, I mean, it's really only been the last 2 weeks where they have shown some positive impact into the game plan. This has been a running game that has struggled in the 4 games before that. So I get where the Saints came from, and I can say, okay, I discounted a little bit that Caleb had that kind of day because he was facing the additional defenders in the secondary. But at the same time, it's somebody that you need to see, like you said, the progression out of it and just the improvement out of, because a lot of the replays, it looked like the game just wasn't slowing down for him either.
Yeah.
Like he was just very skittish, even though he was holding on to the ball for what seemed like eons on certain plays. And I mean, he was running every which way to get himself out of sacks. The fact that he was only sacked once yesterday is frankly a miracle.
You know what worries me is I feel like his sack number should be a lot more because he's escaped a lot of sacks, not only yesterday, but this entire season. So that has me worried a little bit about the offensive line breaking down. I think you're fine with Darnell Wright, and I think you're fine with Joe Thuney. But even Theo Benedict yesterday, I mean, Ben Johnson said it today, he says it's just inconsistent. So like you need, I mean, like I said, it shows that Caleb is getting out of these sacks with his ability. And eventually that's not going to be the case every single time. You know, he's getting out of, man, I'd say 90% of those type of plays. I think it's going to start trending down a little bit, but Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just wanted to. Sorry to interrupt that, but
No, you're
you mentioned it.
100% right. But that's the thing is like, and we know the left tackle position is the weak link on this Bears offensive line. That Theo Benedette is a significantly better run blocker than he is a pass blocker,
Yeah,
just based on the way that he attacks the game, and it just makes you wonder when you play more talented defenses, more talented defensive lines specifically, what that's going to look like.
Micah Parsons, Rashawn
I,
Gary.
I worry about that first Packer game. I really do.
Yeah.
And I think we saw the Cardinals had that game yesterday against the Packers. And then all of a sudden, the Packers defensive line that they have injected millions upon millions of dollars into came alive and got to the quarterback when it mattered. And if you were to say tomorrow, hey, Bears versus Packers, I'm scared to death
Yeah,
that the Bears are not going to be able to properly prepare themselves, and then Caleb ends up on the ground 5-6 times. Because let's be honest, based on the teams that the Bears have played so far this year, it's not really a calling card for the offensive line to say, oh, we've played all these great defenses. Commanders, Saints, Raiders, Cowboys, like nothing
the
there in this
Vikings.
4-game winning streak
Yeah,
has been a dominant defensive line that they've had to go up against. And yeah, the Ravens defense has been bad, but there's still good pass rushers there. You have Trey Hendrickson in 2 weeks with the Bengals. How's he going to do against this line? And even against the Raiders, Max Crosby had himself a day.
Yeah.
So again, it is a concern. And I think that, yeah, while Ben Johnson said, yeah, there's inconsistency there. What's the plan? What is the plan to get past it? I don't know if there is a plan.
No, there's not one for 2025. I mean, it's just you're going to have to use a tight end or running back to chip. I think, next year they have to really solidify the left tackle spot. And, maybe Theo Bennett gets better and better and better, and he's surprised. I don't know. I wouldn't bet on that. They desperately need to solve the left tackle position ASAP. And back to the point with Caleb too, it's like you look outside of these last 2 weeks, the run game has been horrid. And now you look at the run game's good. I think that's going to take a little pressure off of Caleb Williams. Now that I think he kind of feels like he doesn't have to do it all anymore because he has a run game. Whereas like the first, 4 weeks of the season, it felt like the passing game was going to have to carry them to a win. Whereas these last 2 wins, it's essentially been takeaways in the run game, which is fine because you need that total team effort. I just want to see that number one pick lead you to a win. And there's plenty of chances. I mean, there are 6 games into the season. It's not the end of the world. There's still plenty of time. He'll get better. The thing I like though is you hear from him and Ben Johnson about the accountability and the mistakes that are made. There's no sugarcoating this. There's none of that crap last year where, oh, well, look at this, and oh, we got to figure this out, and oh, we got to do this and that, and there's none of that stuff. It's all they know what to fix, and I can clearly say they're definitely working on
it. They are, and it's funny you mentioned that just compared to previous seasons and what this team is now versus, like you said, the Matt Eberflus era. There was a funny comparison of on-field interviews, and obviously the Bears and Ben Johnson, the interview where he got a little snippy with the on-field reporter coming out of halftime in the was it the Commanders game or was it the Raiders game? I think it was the
Raiders game.
Yeah, Raiders game. Compared that to one of the answers from Matt Eberflus, who said we all just had to come together and just kind of hold each other. And I'm like, who is this?
Yeah.
Like, who says these things? It's just like you're playing football. And so from that angle, it is nice to know that it feels like there are actual, coaches that can speak to the players and get through to the players and do these things, that we weren't seeing. And I tell you though, it's I get the fact that okay, maybe there's not a plan for 2024, but if the Bears keep winning, is it more of a matter of do they just look at this as an added benefit that they are just stringing these wins together knowing they aren't fully there yet, or do they actually try and take the action to get better in the moment and shore up these issues that they are continuously having? Like that's my struggle right now. That yeah, they again coulda, shoulda, woulda. They could be 5-1 right now. They should be 5-1 right now. They shouldn't have fallen apart week 1, but 4-2. Lamar Jackson, if he doesn't play on Sunday, that's not looking like a pretty darn good game for the Ravens, given the way that this Bears defense is playing. Bengals, who knows? I mean, heck, they just beat the Steelers. But again, it's winnable games that are coming up, and they need to, frankly, act like they want to be there instead of just putting another feather in the cap saying, okay, we did really great, but okay, now that that's all over, now we'll focus on all the issues that we're having.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think they're going to have to chip and use a tight end if Benedict's getting destroyed. But yeah, I mean, left tackle has to be the position of need in the offseason. Yeah. You got, left tackle and another pass rusher because I don't know where Dio Domingo's been, but man, that's been just a total bust. And thank goodness for Dominic Robinson coming out of nowhere. I mean, like having a career year, honestly. And yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it was just like I said, it was one of those classic Bears wins. But now you're 4-2. You're the number 8 seed as of right now. Probably, I don't think tonight's game changes anything. You're the number 8 seed on the outside looking in. You're not in last place in the NFC North for what feels like forever. You have a chance. You've opened up the door now. You have 2 tough road games, and you have a scrappy Giants team. Coming in here to Soldier Field. That's 3 games. It feels like you have to go 2-1. We talked after a couple weeks ago or last week. Talk about the Commanders. We said these 5 games. What do we say? Like 4-1. Well,
I'll be disappointed if they're not 4-1.
Yeah, I mean they should be 4-1. Coming out of these 5 games, but again, you put yourself in that position, and the schedule, those final 7-8 games, gets pretty damn tough, and you're gonna be facing, like you mentioned, the defense. I mean, you're gonna be facing a good Giants defensive line. Like that Giants defensive line is gonna be up there in terms of who you're facing, and then you have to face Packers twice. You have to face the Vikings again, the Lions again, the 49ers, who should be all healthy. Yeah, man, at least you've put yourself in the spot, but we need to see progress from Caleb Williams. We need to see progress on the left tackle. We need a pass rusher, and let's hope the run game continues to get better and better. But, with the takeaways, I hope those last. I think they're going to last. I don't think they'll last at this clip where they're getting 3 to 4 a game. But man, if they could get 2 a game even, and the offense takes a step, this is going to be a tough team come December.
Yeah, I mean, for what it looks like, and again, the just really, frankly, never giving up on the play has been the key for a lot of these turnovers, where we've seen linebackers diving. We've seen even Kevin Byard yesterday with just a wild leap and making sure that he's staying in bounds. Again, it's you see what these, frankly, veterans are doing, and I think it's just kind of spread to the rest of the defense that's on the field. And obviously Kyler Gordon being back has been instrumental to this secondary. The same with TJ Edwards. It's good to see that things are finally starting to mesh, and again, even Jaquan Brisker, I think is kind of a BS pass or roughing the passer call.
Where can you hit the quarterback?
I don't know anymore. I don't know if that answer exists.
I get the head thing. I get the the grazing
It
of
hit
the
his
head.
arm first. It
But
hit
that's
his
what
arm
I'm saying.
first.
Like, you're asking a world-class athlete to stop full speed. Like,
Yeah.
it's absolutely insane to me. And the Colston Loveland pick play, you got to be that. I mean, that's
the second time that
that's
he's gotten
incredible.
flagged on the dumbest thing.
That's
And
incredible.
yeah, it was rough, and it's funny because that same officiating crew was doing the Packer Cardinal game Sunday afternoon, and similar calls, like offensive line not on the line of scrimmage, and the offensive pass interference. I'm like, I have so bad deja vu right now. Like it's
Oh,
PTSD.
the fourth down, the Tucker Craft play, like, I don't think it's offensive pass interference. I don't think you should call that offensive pass interference late in the game where he kind of just, puts his hand and kind of puts him, gives him a little space. But they literally, that same crew literally called it the week before
On Colston Loveland.
On Colston Loveland. And it's like, it's just, for me, it's the consistency. I did want to say something about this comment here. Guys, I'm not comfortable with the return game. Duvernay is sure-handed, but what you say? What say you? I was like, he has not had a good return at all this year, and there's not been one return that stood out to me that I'm like, wow, okay. Honestly, man, I think you try Luther Burden back there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to see Luther Burden getting some more opportunities in the kick return game. I feel like more often than not, he's been the guy that's been bringing the kicks back. From there, right now, though, Devin Duvernay, and obviously there's some back and forth with this just based on this, but I'm going to scroll. Oh man, he's way down here. He's averaging 24.8 yards on kick returns, which,
but that's bringing it out of the end zone.
It's like 35th.
That's bringing it out of the end zone.
I'm just gonna go off of that, and then for punt returns, he has 121 yards on 11 returns. It's an average of 11 yards per return. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14th. So 14th in punt return average for Devin Duvernay. His long, and to that point, if something doesn't stick out, usually that means something. His long is 22 yards for punts.
Oh, gee, I can't remember what play that was.
And I don't either. His long for kickoffs is 34 yards.
Has there been a play for you that you like? Wow.
I mean that. No, not really.
I don't remember the 34 yarder.
The 34 yard long run is the 44th best of long runs per player.
I mean, I don't know what the solution is. You don't have many guys that can return kicks. I think you do have who's the kid from TCU that was in training camp that was going to be the training camp here. I forget his name. But you're not going to bring him up off the practice squad.
Yeah.
He's got some experience. You're not, I mean, you have Luther Burden, but it tells you that they haven't made the switch because they want Luther to get more involved. You know what I mean? They want Luther to get more involved in the offense. You don't want to, I don't know, or maybe Jade Walker. But it's always, you have to look at it this way. It's always inactives or a numbers game. It's based on the opponent. It's based on your feel of the game, your game plan. Because you look, some weeks there's multiple offensive linemen inactive. That's for a reason. Some weeks there's not. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. And Jade Walker appears to be the inactive guy a lot. He was active against the Raiders. I think he had played a couple snaps against the Raiders. But I think you look at one of those other wide receivers and see maybe they can give you a spark because they're not getting much from the return game.
Yeah, it's such a risky thing, though, because at the same time, I don't want the Bears to make a knee-jerk decision And may I remind all Bears fans of the Velus Jones years that we've been haunting ourselves through these last 3 years, where you need to make sure that the guy back there has sure hands and is not going to turn the ball over. And frankly, that's what Devin Duvernay is, where he's not going to wow you with the returns and the ability to break off those long runs. But I would much rather have that than have somebody that has a little bit more shiftiness to them if they drop a kick here or there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm falling in line, is they're being so well-mannered when it comes to making sure they don't make those big errors, that I don't want them to sit here and put somebody back there that hasn't had that experience doing those things and have them make the mistake and have it cost the Bears a game. So that's kind of where my mind is.
Yeah, well,
it's not the most ideal of answers, but I think I'm just scarred more than anything.
yeah. I mean, I think punts, you could keep them back there for that, like not, the fielding issue, stuff like that. I think kickoff, or maybe Luther just doesn't do much of kickoffs in practice. I don't know, because it is different now with the new rules. But yeah, I don't know. They got to get something out of that return game, man.
Yeah. So let me look here. Luther Burden has had 8 returns in the kickoff game for an average of 27.9 yards. So he's averaging a little over 3 yards more than Devin Duvernay is.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not earth-shattering, but at the same time, the leader in return yards is, if we're going to go by who's doing it on a consistent basis, Nguanwu for the Jets. 5 attempts, he's returned for an average of 35 yards. Luke McCaffrey's had 24 returns for an average of 29.7. So I mean, just 1 or 2 yards off from there. It's one of those tough things, and obviously it's going to balance itself out a little bit more as the season goes along, and we get these get more, I guess, clarity to who the return men are on all of these teams. But when it comes to the punt, I mean, heck, DJ Moore was back there when they first acquired DJ Moore too.
Yeah.
That they were using him. So, I mean, to the point even about wanting to get Luther Burden more involved in the offense, I'm not sure that's even necessarily a sticking point for them. Maybe if he's a rookie, maybe that's more of the situation. But at the same time, I think that, if they feel confident enough, that they would give it to him to see what he can do in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to moving forward who they can go to. But I mean, so far it hasn't burned them yet by any means. But it's kind of one of those things you notice during the game where you want to set your offense up with more field position and better field position. And there's an area you can do that. So if you can always improve there, I think that's definitely important.
Yep, 100%. And, speaking of improvement, obviously all of the things that the Bears did do wrong, specifically to the offense in the game on Sunday against the Saints, looking forward to this Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, as Lamar Jackson not practicing again for the Ravens. You think out of the bye week, he's going to be healthy, he's going to be back. I mean, still, it's only Monday. You'd never know. But I got to imagine that the Bears are just like, please, just one more week. Let's get out of having to worry about Lamar Jackson, because, I mean, the Ravens, even with Lamar Jackson, has not looked great. They are 1-5. Pretty ugly. They have not been a very solid team overall, and even to the game that the Ravens lost against the Chiefs, where Jackson left, I mean, they lost 44-10 against the Texans, 17-3 against the Rams. They had the collapse against the Bills week 1. The Lions beat them up 38-30. That score a lot closer than what that final score ended up being. So, again, for what this Ravens team might look like, or if Lamar returns, what it could very much more look like getting him back at home, the Bears are kind of in a limbo than anything, kind of wondering what they're going to be faced with here, come this matchup in week number 7 or 8. What are we in? 8?
8. Yep. If Lamar plays, first time in his career playing against the Bears. Same with Roquan Smith.
Really?
Yeah, Lamar didn't play the last time. Remember?
I didn't know that.
21, 22. It was Tyler Snoop Huntley. Lamar was ruled out Saturday night, or it was questionable Saturday night with like an illness, and then ended up not playing.
Huh.
Yeah, it was that bad, awful game at Soldier Field.
Which one?
Oh, yeah. Good call. Yeah, it was it was a December game, early December, maybe late November. Yeah, I was actually looking it up yesterday. It was November 21st, 2021. Baltimore beat the Bears 16-13. It was 6-0 at halftime.
Andy Dalton game.
Oh. Yeah. Baltimore 6-0 at halftime. Darnell Mooney had a long 60-yard touchdown catch to put him ahead. Tucker field goal put the Ravens ahead, and then Marquise Goodwin. 1:48 left in the game, 4th and 11 at a 49-yard touchdown catch. Bears go up 13-9, and is this Devonta Freeman that scored a 3-yard touchdown?
Devonta Freeman.
Yeah.
Falcons legend.
That. Yep.
Oh boy. Yeah, look at it. Oh man, these rosters. This is
not good.
Yeah, this is a bit brutal, to say the least. Wow. Well, to that point, for all the struggles that the Bears offense had against the Saints, the next few games are lining up pretty nice overall for them to try and get back on track. And the reason I say that, the Baltimore Ravens currently giving up the 3rd most yards per game at 380. The Cincinnati Bengals, the week after that, 2nd most yards per game at 394. And then the game after that, the Giants giving up the 4th most at 376. You are playing 3 of the 4 worst defenses by yards allowed over the course of the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
In your mind, what does this offense need to do? What do you need to see out of them over this stretch to make you feel better about where they are for this season?
Consistency, the passing attack get going, the rushing attack stay the same those last 2 games. And just Caleb making the throws he should make. It's that easy. It's that simple. Just show me progress. Put up points. Keep up. If you keep that 21-point streak alive, only team in the NFL to have 21 points in every game this year.
Still not sure how, but
yeah, it's crazy. And just don't turn it over a lot. I mean, I think it's a boring answer, but I mean, that's as simple as it is for me. Like, I hate saying like, well, we need 70, 80-yard bombs. It's clear that, the offense is not right now designed or capable of doing that consistently. So sustain drives, get ahead early, but put points on the board and look like the offense is improving.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And, it's funny too, is usually with these bad defenses, you see them being, okay at, one aspect, either the rushing or the passing game. But no, they are literally bad. Like all 3 of these teams, bottom 5 in passing. All 3 of these teams, bottom 8 in rushing. Like, these are games that the offense should be able to figure it out. Plain and simple.
100%. Yeah, 100%. The pass rush worries me a little bit, though.
A little bit, yeah. No, I can definitely agree with you on that one. But again, it's staring him in the face, and to have that confidence again, just like the confidence that the defense has right now, coming off this 4-game winning streak, forcing all these turnovers, doing all the right things. It's time for the offense to step into the spotlight in that same regard. Because if they come out of this 3-game stretch with, more of this mediocre play, it's going to snowball. At some point, it's going to snowball, and it is not going to be good for anybody at all. So, I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm still hopeful. I want my 4-1.
2-1 in the stretch gets you to 4-1. 2-1. 2-1.
Oh man, it feels doable. It really does.
No, it does. I mean, and honestly, pending Lamar, if Lamar plays, it's a very tough game for the Bears.
100%. If
he doesn't play, that Giants game worries me the most.
I'm surprised Brian Daboll didn't get fired today.
Yeah. They got their own issues there. They got.
Yeah, man.
Mike McDaniel. It's crazy.
It's a rough time to be in the basement in the NFL right now because, like you said, 4-2. That's only good for 8th best record in the conference.
It's a rough time to be a Florida football in general. Like
fair.
Napier fired, Norvell should be fired at Florida State. Liam Cohen looked like they had no clue what they were doing out there in London. And like you said, I mean, Mike McDaniel now with that, it's just, it's a bad time.
Yeah, they got Disney World still. It'll be fine. Yeah. Most magical place on earth still exists. But yeah, we'll see what they have up their sleeve. I'm sure we'll hear more about what Lamar's chances are playing as we get closer to Sunday. Is Roquan officially playing?
Yeah. He talked today too, so that's usually a good sign. Lamar did not talk, obviously, because he didn't practice, but
yeah, that's going to be some revenge play right there for Roquan taking on the Bears and showing them everything that they've been missing. And I think that's what I'm most scared about more than anything, because that is a defense that runs on Roquan and his ability. So
feels like a 14-15 tackle type game for Roquan.
Look, yeah, if somebody gave me like a 14.5 over under, I'm probably taking the over.
Yeah. Well, he gets 15 tackles. The Bears win. I think that's totally fine.
I'll take the trade. I'll gladly take the trade.
I'll take that trade off there.
Oh man. Well, we'll see. Like I said, we'll see what happens. But we're gonna have coverage of Bears Ravens in the days leading up to this Week 8 showdown out in Maryland. This Sunday afternoon, another noon game for the Bears, and hopefully we'll be talking about a 5-game win streak for the Bears. As obviously the last time the Bears were 4-2 didn't end so great, and we're going to hope for better things on the horizon here in 2025 with a team that is trending in the right direction. But that's going to do it here for this episode of the Bear Report podcast. For Zach Pearson, I'm Steven Johnson. Thanks for tuning in, listening, watching, wherever you are. And we will be back later this week with more previewing Bears Ravens. Until then, have a great week. Talk to you later.